Today I'm out on the Oregon coast again, one of my favorite places. And I kind of planned to try to line up a sunset shoot with Thor's Well. Thor's Well has been photographed a million times, but it's a lot of fun, a little sketchy. But I came down before the tide came in, because it's been a while. I've done this before. I'll show you a photograph that I captured the last time I was here. But it's been a while and I wasn't happy with the sunset. So I'm hoping that I got some clouds, as you can see in the background, so that could help me out as long as I can get some sun to light them up tonight. But I wanted to go down while the tide was still low to check it out and kind of just get my bearings for this evening when the tide starts to come in and those waves start to crash. I want to be really sure about my composition so I can go there, set it up, and get out before I get into trouble. From up top, it's really easy to see, Thor's Well. You can see where the hole is, and you see where you need to go. Once you get down to like ground level, it becomes a little bit more confusing to be able to find it. So again, it's a good idea, if you come here, to come at low tide or when you've got some rocks exposed, you can kind of figure a path to get there and get back safely. Once you get out to Thor's Well, there's really only one safe area to shoot from, and that's a ridge of exposed like lava rocks that's really evident. You never want to be on the opposite side of Thor's Well shooting back, because the odds of getting pushed into the hole from a sneaker wave is a sure thing.
Warning. Warning. Warning.
Well, I made a huge miscalculation, and apparently the place that I was looking for the tide information was wrong. It was the wrong location. That's totally my fault. So there was no way that the tide was going to be up at sunset enough for me to get anything at Thor's Well. So I made the decision that I'd rather have something rather than nothing. So I headed up the coast just a little bit to Seal Rock. So I figured I could get here and I could probably pull something off. And so I am just frantically trying to get down to the beach. Well, I didn't really have time to vlog while I was trying to find compositions. As you can see, it's a pretty sunset, even though the clouds didn't light up, but there was enough interest at that horizon that it was just a matter of trying to put something together with it, and I don't think I did. I like having a plan and not being really rushed, but with some seagulls and some pelicans and some silhouettes, might have come away with some. It's just going to be, it is what it is. But if any of the shots that I just rambled off very, very quickly tonight turn out at all, I'll show you how they came out. Good morning. So this is what I needed at sunset, which was not going to happen, if you can see down there. And yeah, that's going to be perfect. And those rocks that I was standing on are still going to be good. And the sky is, we got some fog and some low-lying clouds. It's not a great background, but it's different than what I shot before, so I'm going to go do it. I will say that if you've never been here, high tide is not exactly what you're looking for. You're looking for a tide that's somewhere between 5 and maybe 7 feet, and you need a little bit of wave action. And you also want to stay at this viewpoint where I am, and I'm watching these waves, and they're getting bigger and bigger. And you do not you want to be down there if the waves are too big. And sneaker waves come in, it can look nice for like 4 or 5 minutes, and then all of a sudden you'll get this wave that's like huge. And you want to make sure that you're not going to be down there if the wave action is too high. It's just not safe. If you get knocked down, even if you don't fall in the hole, if you get knocked down and you fall against those jagged rocks, you could get hurt and cut up pretty badly. And not to mention ruin camera gear. So I'm going to stay up here. I'm going to watch down there for just a few minutes, 5 or 6 minutes before I head down, just so that I know what I'm going to be facing. A few more tips if you ever come to Thor as well. I don't recommend you bring a backpack. I think I mentioned this yesterday, but because of the precariousness of where you're having to stand on those rocks and the waves coming in, you don't want a big backpack on that might offset your center of gravity and cause you to fall. And number two, there's no place to put it that's gonna be safe from the waves that come in. So I recommend you just bring your camera, something to cover it with, and then, obviously appropriate footwear. I recommend waterproof like muck boots, rain pants, and a raincoat, just in case you do get splashed, you don't get totally soaked. As for lens choices, around 24 millimeters or a little wider, somewhere around there is probably going to be perfect. I bought my 24 to 105, and that's the only lens I have on my camera. Simply because I might have to use a ND filter, and I don't have any for my super wide angle lens. All I have is a 10 stop and a circular polarizer, and in order to get those shutter speeds that I need, I might have to put another filter on. So I'm kind of limited to the 24 to 105, and that's what I used last time, and I think it'll be just fine. You can take a look at the waves and those people standing out there. There's a couple photographers, and look at the size of that. They just blew over. Safety is the number one thing, absolutely. The idea is to get your shot and get out. Another thing I do as I'm walking along is I have my one tripod leg extended all the way, not all the way, but just as a walking stick. And that really helps keep you steady when you're going. The black rocks that are really sharp, those are not too slippery. But some of the gray rocks and rocks that don't have that texture on it when they're wet, like down in here, those can be really slippery. So you want to be very, very careful. Again, since my camera's not in a bag, it's just on a strap. I'm really cognizant about trying not to fall. All right, so let me get set up. So I think I've already got my shots. I've composed it a little bit where I've got some of this the Cape Perpetuas in the background over there. But I just wanted to show you, now that I've kind of got the shots, this is what we're looking at. It's pretty epic. And you can see just how powerful that is. You would not want to fall in. So as I've said before, when you're dealing with water, shutter speed is king. Once you get your shutter speed set, dial that in. The next thing you want to do is just expose the image. So for me, at Thor's well, about 1/4 of a second was where I ended up, 1/5 of a second. Then all I had to do was dial in the other settings. Now I had to use a 3-stop filter, ND filter, plus a circular polarizer, because it was just so incredibly bright. This is daylight, almost noon. But that gave me my settings of like ISO 50 or 100 as it got brighter, and f/16, 1/4 of a second. It's a pretty cool place, I have to admit. I love it. Eventually I will catch the most perfect sunset with this. You just got to keep coming back. Everything's got to line up. So Since I already got my shot as best I could of Thor's well, I decided to head back up the coast a little bit. And this is Yakina Head Lighthouse, and I've shot this before, but I'm always after a great shot at sunset at this location. The clouds were supposed to move in, and it's a great, I'll show you the last shot I got. I'll post it right now. But things constantly change, and as I was coming in to the park, they let me know that it closes at 5 p.m. and they close the gates and you have to be gone. It's not a short walk to get into the park from where I would have to put my van, and then walking back with all this. It's just, I mean, I've got a shot. This was like a low-hanging fruit for tonight. It's gorgeous, and I wanted to shoot it again, and I was hoping that the weather would be good, and it looks like it could be, but I won't know because I have to leave in like 10 minutes, and the sun is not even close. It's awful. There's no way to shoot it now. So, but since I can't shoot sunset here, I need to find a plan B second time. Plan B is Devil's Punch Bowl. It's not very far up the coast. I already had dinner, and it's about an hour and a half till sunset. I've shot here once before, and there's a view from up top. Sorry about that. There's a view from up top, but it's just, it's awful. You want to get down on the beach. To get inside the bowl is dangerous, and you could easily get trapped. I've done it once, and I didn't find any of the photographs from inside the bowl compelling or good at all. I couldn't come up with anything. I was there till I had to leave. But there are some really interesting sea stacks and this gorgeous moss or algae covered, not moss, but algae covered rocks. And it was just low tide, and low tide today was like 3.3 feet. At sunset, it's going to be just below 5 feet. It's going back up. So I'm hoping that some of that algae covered rocks will make a good foreground, and it won't be covered up by the tide yet. So I'm gonna get down to the beach. It's pretty steep, so I'm gonna cut this off before I fall, and we'll pick it up once I get down there. So I don't know if you can see it on the video. You probably will. This screen on this pocket is just so small, but right there you can see the hole that's inside of Devil's Punch Bowl. And like I say, I've been inside there and trying to shoot out and come up with stuff, and I came away with absolutely nothing. I'm looking at all of this incredible green algae, and I think it's going to just be stunning in contrast to the blue water and the blue sky and the yellow sun as it starts to set. And that sea stack back there with the sun setting right there around it, I think this is going to work well. So I found a composition I think I'm going to stick with for now. And I've got this peninsula right here that snakes out, and then I've got a little channel of water on this side and over on this side as well. And you can see when that water comes in, it kind of fills it up and then it pulls back. And I'm hoping that as the tide comes in, that is going to allow me to do a little bit longer of a shutter speed. Maybe here we go. Let's watch what happens. Yeah. And you see the water coming in and down over here, and then going back out. And then that sea stack way out there will be in the background, and the sun setting. And I've got a really wide angle. I'm going to be lower than I am right now to really accentuate all this gorgeous green algae and that rushing water. The good news is that the sun's going behind some clouds, means I can maybe start shooting a little early because the tide is starting to come in, and you can see that this is a lot wetter than it was, and water has been washing over this whole part. I don't mind if it washes over it, I just don't want it to be submerged. Here we go, watch. So I love this over here. That's what I want. I like that. And over here is good. I just don't want it to cover the whole, all of the green. I need that. Look at those clouds behind me. They are gorgeous. So I don't know if I got anything. I got out just in time. I stayed as long as I could, and the water was pretty much coming over, and there was no foreground. The water was hiding it all the time. But hopefully I'll be able to pick a few of the photographs, because I'm going to have to blend those in order to really make it work. I'm just going to call it a wrap for tonight. I got about a 30-mile drive before I can get where I'm going to be staying tonight. So I need to pack up, get back up, hike back up to the van and get out of here. But I think I got a few shots tonight, and if they came out, I'll be sure to show them to you right now.